Where's my squeezers?
Oh, look! I can see them in the cabinet.
Hi, this is Bridge from Gnome Buddy Home. Today, on our Falcon, we're going to be doing a small little project. We found that inside our cabinets, it's a big black dark hole that's hard to see. And when you have stuff in there, you can't find it. So we have more LED strips. I think I'm going to put in a switch on the outside next to the outside lighting. That'll turn on lights for all of these cabinets. Alright, so the first thing we need to find is where we're going to get some power. And there already is power back in here for the outside light switch. I took apart the switch. This is the switch going to the outside lights. And I believe we have ground here. And this is power coming in here, going in and out through this switch. And this white and purple, I believe, is the line going to the outside lights. So we want to intercept our power on this guy, which I think what I'll do is I'll cut this and then splice in this little tail to give us some slack to putting in our switch, which I think this is what we're going to use. And I'm going to cut a hole and put the switch right here next to it. And so these switches came with this super janky switch holder, but I'm really just going to use this as a template to cut a rectangle here in this panel. So I'll know in theory the exact size that I need to cut out of this paneling. And unfortunately, this paneling, it's one thin layer, and then on the inside of this cabinet is another thin layer. So I really don't care too much about what's on the other side because nobody can ever see it. Maybe they'll see it more when there's a light in there. Right now you can't see it because it's a pitch black hole. But on the outside, I need to get it really as close to this size as possible so these little wings will fit and grab the hole. And then our edge will mount perfectly. I did trim out that janky connector, and maybe that'll make, I think it's going to make a little faceplate for the switch to sit on. Alright, so our next plan is we need to, I put this little red-white or red-black power cable through from one hole to the next. So I'm going to need to tie in ground and power to here with some wire nuts. Voila. Alright, so first thing is first, this switch this switch has a ground connection and an accessory on and a supply volts. So I think I'm gonna need to get my voltmeter to test to confirm. There's one switch that will connect ground to the accessory that turns on the little light, and then also this switch will separate out the supply voltage from the power. So when I turn the switch on, the electricity will come in through the supply volts. It will ride through through the switch to turn my accessory on, which is going to be my lights, and my earth ground here will give the little lamp inside the switch electricity to light it up. That's my theory. So we're going to go with that. So I need what I'm going to need is I'm going to need to connect my black, which I'm going to use as ground, to my ground, and that's going to come to here. And then my red, which I'm going to use as power, is going to be my volts supply here. Then when I connect up my LED lights, I'm going to have the accessory on. It's going to wire up to the middle connection, and I'll have to tie the LED lights to ground also. Batteries always need a path from positive to negative back to the ground, so you have to provide a return. All right, so first things first, I might as well get these stripped and ready to go. Which I should be able to. Get that ready. And now get that ready. So we are going black is ground. We're gonna connect that one up. A little happy squeezer. And we don't have to worry about waterproof butt connections here because it's inside the camper. It's always going to be dry. And voltage supply power is going to be here. Okay. So I think I'm going to use my little face plate, because black to ground, it's going to go there, and power is going to come here. So our middle connection is waiting to connect up to our lights. Okay, so that's basically done. Now we're going to need to tie in to the world. Strip these so we don't have to wrestle with them. These guys don't have any power on them at all right now. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now we get to do the fun part. So this, I believe, is our ground, and I believe this is our power. So I think I want to put on our ground first. Unfortunately, they used like a crimping nut rather than a twist nut. So I gotta see if I can get this guy undone. Cleaned up, and this cleaned up. Okay, so all three of these, because this is ground in and out, plus ground going to the light outside, that's those three. And then we are going to add our ground to our inside lights in this big giant mess. We're gonna squeeze into this wire nut. That's twisty wire nut. Okay. So that's all safely connected. Now we need to put in our power lead. So here's our power. And this one. Give them a nice little twist to clean them up. Alright. So those two are going to go together like they were, plus our power lead. And we'll give a little wire nut. I fished in the tail from the LED for this upper cabinet, and I poked a hole just on one side, on the inside of the lower cabinet, and used a clothes hanger to fish in between these two layers to get up to here. So I have two LED light tails for now. We're gonna go with this. Two LED light tails going to this switch. Now the reds I'm gonna be able to put into here, and that'll be cool. So first things first, let's weasel this guy off. Sometimes if you're lucky you can unscrunch them and get it to come loose like that. It's unusable, but at least you didn't lose any space on that. Okay, so we've got ground, black, black, black. Let me sheath these. That one's kind of already open a little bit. This one, it's like, man, I think they just used like 3 little hairs of wires in there. It's a Amazon LED special, right? Okay, so these two can go together. That's our two blacks going with our main black. Just wind those all up and stuff them back in here. Okay, so that takes care of our grounds. Now we have our on accessory. So we need to sheath these back. That one's already done. This one's not. That's a little bit of the tail. Man, that is so thin. You can like really barely see it. My hands are. All right, so here we go. We have accessory power. We'll plug that into our switch. And ground, we'll plug that into our switch. Moment of truth, let's see if this works. So, these are the little LED strips that we're using. We found them in a bundle on Amazon, like 10 strips for not that much money. And they're waterproof LEDs. They come in different colors. We first ordered, we were trying to get blue for the underside of the camper. These are the same strips that we use on the underside of our Falcon to kind of match the already existing LED blue lights. And inadvertently we ordered white, so we had we had to get some more. So we thought whites would go well inside these cabinets. So if you can see in here, it's, our wiring access is coming out here. We've got an LED here. We've got our second LED for this lower light. We turn our switch on. So now it's just a matter of pulling off the sticky back and deciding where we want them in our shelving, so we can actually see what we have. Okay, so here we go. Pull off the sticky back. Try not to touch it as much as possible. I think we're gonna go right across here. That. Give our cabinet lots of good light. We'll be able to see what we have. Not that you necessarily want to see your plumbing, but maybe actually you might. If you had a leak or some sort of problem, lighting in there would be really good. Also, you can find all your other stuff. Now we just have to stick the bottom one and we're done for now. Later, I'm gonna have to figure out a wiring connection to get into these cabinets, and then into the closed cabinets. That'll be a bigger project, and I think I'm gonna remember to bring a drill bit next time. Would probably be better than chiseling to make a hole. If this has been helpful or inspirational, please like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. We try to make a video every couple weeks about our adventures with our Falcon. Have a wonderful time. This is Gnome Buddy Home. Have a good night.